Why now? Why this team? Why this job, Ben?
Yeah, it's certainly the place played a huge part of it. The people here, I'm talking about George McCaskey, Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles. I really felt a great vibe on the interview.
We're tackling a hot topic that's got everyone talking. Ben Johnson's eyebrow-raising comments, or lack thereof, about the Chicago Bears defense. Specifically, Montez Sweat, the star edge rusher who's supposed to be the cornerstone of the defensive line. What's going on here? Was it a slip of the tongue or something deeper? Ben Johnson, the Bears offensive coordinator, recently sat down for what the team called a fireside chat. No actual fire, but plenty of sparks in the conversation. When talking about the Bears' defense, Johnson had plenty of praise for the linebackers. He also complimented the defensive line's ability to stop the run. But here's the kicker. He didn't mention Montez Sweat. Not once. Now, for those who've been following the Bears closely, this omission feels strange. Montez Sweat is a $25 million a year player. He's the guy they brought in to be the game changer on the edge. How does someone like that not come up in the conversation? First, let's talk about Montez Sweat's 2024 season. Statistically, it wasn't great. He finished with just 5.5 sacks. For a guy who's supposed to be your marquee pass rusher, that's underwhelming, but numbers don't always tell the full story. In 2023, Sweat was a menace. He had memorable games against the Lions, including one where he practically lived in Jared Goff's backfield. 6 pressures in one game. That's elite production. So, what happened in 2024? Did the Bears scheme fail him? Did injuries catch up? Or is this just one of those down years every player goes through? Ben Johnson's comments, or omissions, might give us a clue. When he talked about the defense, he said the defensive line lacked star power. Hold on a second, lacked star power? What about Montez Sweat, the guy who's supposed to be the star? Is this Johnson's way of subtly saying Sweat isn't living up to his contract? Or is he simply emphasizing the need for more talent around Sweat? Let's dig deeper. The Bears' defensive line in 2024 wasn't exactly a murderer's row. Andrew Billings, the surprise standout at defensive tackle, missed half the season with injuries. Without Billings, the run defense struggled. And Sweat? He was often a one-man show. Teams double-teamed him, chipped him with tight ends, and did everything they could to neutralize him. Football is the ultimate team sport, and one edge rusher can only do so much. But here's the thing, star players rise above. They find ways to impact the game even when the odds are stacked against them. That's what separates the good from the great. In 2024, Montez Sweat didn't do enough of that. Sure, there were flashes, but flashes don't justify $25 million a year. Consistency does. Game-changing moments do. And let's not forget Johnson's experience with Sweat. Back in 2023, Sweat gave the Lions fits. He sacked Jared Goff in both games that season, including a violent hit that had fans and analysts buzzing. He also racked up 5 quarterback hits and 6 pressures in their second matchup. Those are the kind of performances you'd think would stick in Johnson's memory. So why the omission? One possibility is that Johnson's comments weren't a critique of Sweat, but a call to action for the Bears front office. Think about it. If you're Johnson, you want more help for your defense. You want another edge rusher to take the pressure off Sweat. You want depth on the defensive line so that injuries to guys like Billings don't derail the season. By saying the defensive line lacks star power, Johnson might be pushing for the team to invest in that area during the offseason. And let's be real, he's not wrong. One edge rusher, no matter how talented, isn't enough. The best defensive lines in the NFL are loaded with talent. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got guys like Hasten Reddick, Josh Sweat, and Jalen Carter. They come at you in waves. That's what the Bears need to aim for. Another possibility is that Johnson's comments were more about mindset than personnel. When he said the defensive line lacked star power, maybe he wasn't talking about talent. Maybe he was talking about mentality. Great defenses have an edge, a swagger. They impose their will on opponents. In 2024, the Bears' defense didn't do enough of that. They were good at stopping the run when Billings was healthy, but they didn't generate enough pressure on the quarterback They didn't force enough turnovers. They didn't make enough game-changing plays. So, where does that leave us? For starters, the Bears need to figure out what they have in Montez Sweat. Is he the guy who dominated in 2023, or is he the guy who disappeared too often in 2024? The truth is probably somewhere in between. Sweat is a talented player, but he's not a one-man wrecking crew. He needs help. That brings us to the offseason. The Bears have assets. They've got cap space. They've got draft picks. They've got an opportunity to build a defensive line that can dominate. The question is, will they take it? Will they target another edge rusher in free agency or the draft? Will they add depth at defensive tackle? Will they give Montez Sweat the support he needs to thrive? One name to watch in free agency is Danielle Hunter. The Vikings star had 13 sacks in 2024 and is hitting the open market. Pairing Hunter with Sweat would give the Bears a dynamic duo on the edge. In the draft, a player like Jared Verse from Florida State could be a game changer. He's explosive, relentless, and exactly the kind of player who could elevate the defensive line. But it's not just about adding talent. It's about maximizing the talent you already have. That starts with coaching. Matt Eberflus, a defensive-minded head coach, needs to find ways to put Sweat in positions to succeed. That might mean moving him around the line, using stunts and twists, or even dropping him into coverage occasionally to keep offenses guessing. It's also about accountability. If Sweat wants to be the face of this defense, he needs to play like it every week. That means more than just racking up sacks. It means setting the edge in the run game, hustling on every play, and being a leader on and off the field. So what do we make of Ben Johnson's omission? Was it a subtle critique of Montez Sweat? A challenge to the front office? A message to the entire defense? Maybe it was all of the above. What's clear is that the Bears have work to do. They've got a talented edge rusher in Sweat, but they need more. More help, more consistency, more star power. Bears fans, what do you think? Was Johnson's omission a big deal, or are we reading too much into it? Do you believe in Montez Sweat as the cornerstone of this defense, or should the Bears look for other options? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got plenty more Bears content coming your way. Bear down!